Have Xbox let their players down this generation? I'm Jay, and I've been thinking about how little time I've put into my Xbox recently and how little is on my radar for the future. Are Xbox players missing out? On reflection, did we make the wrong purchase? Now, to be clear, I do not have a side in the so-called console wars. I own all three mainline systems and have done since launch. So I'm approaching this from the perspective of someone who plays on all fronts and wants great games across the board. I used to play a lot on my Xbox. It was far and away my main console and had been since the 360 generation. That was until about 12 months ago when things started to change. I found myself bored with the same old games I was playing. Buying FIFA every year became stale, so I stopped. I played the various battle royales over the years, and they got boring. And I found myself enjoying the social side of my Xbox experience, which I still think is better than the rest, and instead found myself craving more story-driven single-player experiences or cooperative multiplayer experiences. Unfortunately, the titles I was finding most compelling were not on the Xbox. I looked at God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, and Final Fantasy in its many forms, to name a few. I still use my Xbox to play with friends as my core social group are there, but I'm playing more crossplay now, and where possible, I buy for the PS5 first when I can. And that's mainly because of the PS Portal, which provides me with additional play options, but also because they seem to be continuing to innovate and the player base is much bigger. Which, as someone looking to expand my gaming network, is actually really important to me. So it made me think, where are the big story-driven exclusives from Xbox? Where are the reasons to pick up my Xbox Pad and not the PlayStation or Switch? Let's look at some of the reasons that myself, and I suspect many others, are turning their back on the Xbox ecosystem. Let's start with the hardware and the competition. Since the launch of the device in 2020, we haven't seen much to get excited about when it comes to innovation from Microsoft in the hardware space. With Sony having accessories like the PSVR 2, and although they've perhaps under-supported it, in my last video on whether the PSVR 2 is already over, they do at least give their players different experiences and hardware to get excited about. VR gaming is still an emerging market, and with full AAA games like Gran Turismo and Resident Evil getting VR releases, it extends the way to play these games, and it brings new experiences to players. The same is true of the PS Portal, again a device I did a video on a while back, check it out. It gives players different ways to experience their games and a reason to be excited for the future, with hardware releases and accessories to keep the core experience fresh. So what about the console revisions? We have the PS5 Slim, possibly a bit unnecessary, but we have it. We also have the rumoured Pro console, which by the sounds of it will put Sony back on the top as having the most powerful console. We haven't heard anything from Xbox on this front, except for the constant rumours of streaming-only xCloud devices, in the same vein as a Chromecast or Apple TV. We did get the slightly improved Series S with a 1TB hard drive, but otherwise it's been really quiet. One thing Xbox has made a reputation for doing so well is special edition variants, specifically controllers. This generation has seen a huge number of special edition controllers, which I do enjoy, but in years gone by they've gone beyond this and done special edition consoles, which didn't just have a fresh look, but often themed sounds and more. I will always remember the R2-D2 Xbox 360 and the C3PO controller. We haven't seen too many of these recently, with the most recent being a bluey variant, which seemed an odd choice for the Series X, maybe the Series S, and a star-filled wraparound skin for its release. I've never been one for buying the special edition consoles at launch, as I always found it a little unnecessary, but maybe the lack of these from Sony 2 this generation may not be such a bad thing. Software-wise, it's barren for Xbox at the moment. Starfield, despite huge hype, ended up landing a bit flat. I played a few hours and I agree with the general discourse, it was a little slow and uninspiring. Beyond that, we have the Forza series and Flight Simulator, which are great for their audiences, but lack wider appeal. We have Halo, which is actually really good, but no one's talking about it anymore, and it launched half-baked with features that many players wanted missing and they were added later. Then there's Gears of War. Been absent for many years now, with no immediate end to that absence in sight. The wait goes on. Since the release of Gears 5 in 2019, the follow-up hasn't been spoken about in mainstream media, and there was nothing at Xbox's most recent showcases. With rumours of a 2026 release now circling the internet, which is worrying to me. With that kind of a wait, it could be next-gen hardware by the time it actually comes out. And although as big of a Gears fan as I am, I have found the latest trilogy to be less compelling. It's always hard when the original storytellers have told their tale, and then other studios milk the franchise as it's seen as a money spinner. Halo's arguably suffered similarly since the success of its original trilogy. Microsoft spent big, really big, to acquire a lot of studios just a few years back, and we haven't really seen the yield from that yet. The upcoming Indiana Jones title looks interesting, but with rumours that this may not remain exclusive, it does beg the question, what do Xbox fans have to look forward to? There have been more missteps than success stories from these exclusive studios now, which is a real shame. And with Xbox now also testing the waters by launching previously exclusive games for PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, Sea of Thieves being one of the most notable. Now I admit, it's an old game now, but you could be enjoying much more variety now on one of those alternative consoles. Nintendo have made so much money and gained much loyalty through their exclusives over the years. They've squeezed that little Italian plumber for all he's worth, and with the Zelda series alongside that, the reasons for purchasing a Switch, even now at the end of its life cycle, are compelling. PlayStation players, on the other hand, have been spoilt with a plethora of riches. Many titles I've already mentioned, and there are many, many more to enjoy. It's unlikely you'll see any of those titles making their way to Xbox anytime soon, and although they're now seeing the benefit of PC markets, especially with Helldivers 2 being their first exclusive that launched day and date on both console and PC with huge success. I know that Xbox have Game Pass, and that launches straight into this service are genuinely great, and they should be commended. I think this service would have brought much more success for them if the exclusives met that quality standard expected. Unfortunately, that's not always been the case. Even the latest Forza failed to capture the hearts and minds, the number of my friends telling me it fell short of previous games in the series. PlayStation's competing streaming service is not yet on par with Game Pass, but it's catching up and it provides great value to players, especially those coming to the console a little late in its life. So all this leaves me wondering, when will I next be compelled to put my Xbox on and play something there rather than one of the alternatives? For me, the Xbox brand has gone a little stale, and it's really in need of something to elevate it again. Xbox have tried to do a lot of things right this generation, but in this industry, no amount of positive actions can outweigh a lack of software. It's key to the success of any console. Without exclusives to bring the players in, the rest is time wasted. I won't be selling my console anytime soon, but I have to admit, it's now lost its status as my go-to console. That honour goes to PlayStation for now, and if a game is cross-play, I'll even buy those games that I would typically play with my Xbox friends on PS5 if it means I can still play with them. As I wrote this video, there were some interesting rumours that started to do the rounds on social media. The first was that Microsoft may be looking at their own handheld device, more in line with the Steam Deck, rather than the PS Portal, which could be very interesting, but it wouldn't solve the software problem. However, they were also talking about rumours that Xbox might be bringing Steam and Epic launchers to the Xbox console, which would be a very different proposition and would certainly change the conversation. Nothing is guaranteed though, so let's wait and see what, if anything, we hear from Microsoft in the coming year. So, do you agree? If you're an Xbox player, do you feel similarly, or am I missing some games that would change my mind? Let me know in the comments below. And be kind, I'm not interested in console wars. I truly want great games on all consoles so that all players can enjoy and be proud of the investment they've made. I'll leave it here for now, get involved in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.